Hey guys, Nick here from Drones for Hire with Oscar, Head of Agriculture. We're here to talk about the new T100. It's a brand new, the first unit that we have. So we're going to do a bit of a walk around, talk about some of the interesting features, differences with the T50, and just give you a good overview of the aircraft.
So we just got it out of the box. We got it out yesterday actually, but it was raining and horrible. So this is the first time we've had it outside. Some of the things I definitely noticed besides the size was the different locking mechanisms. Very, very positive. Yeah, they're really, really nice. They seem to go together pretty well.
Yeah, and the lock is sort of halfway up the arm instead of locking onto the frame there like the T50. So.
And then the whole thing does clip off, so we can show you that now. If I just pop the battery out, just want to unclip that side. Now we can lift the whole aircraft body off, and then it just pops back down on again. We had a bit of a go trying to sort of get it set up with one person, and it's awkward, I gotta say. Yeah. I think it could be done, but I don't think it's going to be something we're going to be wanting to be doing every single day. But
a key difference with that is the airframe lifts off the payload, whereas with the T50 you change the payload out of the airframe. Whereas with the T100, it's a different configuration. So,
I think you know, a wheel set on this, like the trolleys, is going to be how we're going to move them around. Yeah. As a whole unit, probably connected together. So we got the LiDAR on this side, which is probably one of the most exciting things about the T100, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
Be really interested to see how that works when we start getting flying, hopefully later today.
Interesting how it's off to one side, so you kind of might expect it to be at the front to give it a fuller field of view, but there must be a reason for that, just haven't read up about it yet. But yeah, the LiDAR is going to be a massive game changer for these spray drones, because LiDAR is famous for seeing more detail of height changes and terrain changes, and particularly through vegetation, so the machine can sort of see where it's going much more clearly as far as identifying obstacles and trees and power lines and height changes and things. So that's a big improvement for the T100.
Another thing I really like, besides the sheer size of the radar, is the 4 cameras on top of the radar, which are basically replacing our binocular vision on the T50. But I love that it's up nice and high. You know, we're always having trouble with getting drift on our lenses. Binocular vision blurry is the common warning you'll get. But now we've got it right out nice and high. We're sort of out of that rotor wash now, which I think that'll be much better for that smooth operations, not having to wipe them every single time we come in for a battery change.
Yeah, I guess these sprayers got to fold out and sit behind the aircraft there, so nice and well away from those cameras. So that's a good point. Yeah.
The other thing we noticed when we were unboxing, Rach, if you want to come around and have a look at this, is the rear radar. So this is our tiny little rear radar at the back. I wasn't actually aware that it had a rear radar, to tell you the truth, so that'll be interesting to see how that works and what its sort of function is.
Yeah, it's quite a small radar, but I suppose it doesn't need to be that big because the LiDAR system is adding so much to the overall perception system, and the front radar is obviously huge as well, and it's continuously taking photos with these 4 cameras as well. So there's so much sort of sensing power up the front here that I suppose the back one doesn't need to be all that powerful.
I think too that, you know, it was the same with the T50s in that we always try and operate in a forward direction. And I think that's just probably going to be a little bit more magnified because this thing should be doing an incredible job for us.
Yeah.
So we're really going to want to be moving forward and taking advantage of all that detection and avoidance and safety systems of that LiDAR.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm pretty sure that, you know, it's going to be shooting out ahead. I think this does, what is it, 60 meters it sees ahead now?
Yeah, something like that. But
as opposed to the half that on the T50. So it's projecting a long way in front of it when it's flying and looking at all those obstacles and terrain changes.
And that ability to see out further is very important because it's going to be going faster. It's got a top speed of 72 k's an hour. So at that speed, it needs to see out further in order to get ready for what's coming up. So that kind of makes sense.
So we got a T50 prop here, just as a bit of a comparison. So the shape is quite different, and the length is different too. But I'm surprised it's not a heap bigger, to be honest.
Yeah. I suppose it all adds up when you have so many of them. So 16 pieces in total, 8 pairs.
But a lot thicker, a lot more sturdy, I would say.
Yep.
And not that real point like on the T50. And the ESCs, they look definitely bigger and beefier. Yep. Interesting that it's one module for both motors, which is something new. We don't have a separate ESC for each motor. They got separate outputs, but it's one module.
It almost looks like there's 2 integrated into one there with the, not exactly sure how that works, but yeah, it's always handy having a big ESC, because in the past with spray drones and or any drone really, the ESC's job is to control and regulate the power coming from the battery before it gets to the motor, and it's a critical sort of point in the whole system. So you don't want the ESC to be under-engineered or underpowered. So it's always good if they're over-engineered, if anything. So.
And we got our antennas, 2 antennas at the front. We got 2 antennas at the back as well, I can see. In quite close to the body, which will be interesting. But with the new transmission technology in this, I can't imagine we're going to have, any issues with connection.
No. DJI is famous for their transmission technology, and it really is leaps and bounds ahead of any other system almost in the world, apart from military stuff, because that OcuSync 04 or Enterprise 04 OcuSync is just so powerful, and it's a key hallmark of DJI's technology.
Motors, I guess we'll see. They're big. They got double cooling on them, and a lot of free air. I think maintenance is, a bit of blowing them out after jobs and that sort of thing is going to be a lot easier to do with these. They're not so enclosed as the T50 ones were. They feel fantastic.
Maybe better heat ventilation as well. So.
Yeah, well, definitely. There's actually some cooling fins that are down in on the motor that I can see.
Go on to the RTK antennas, so they look pretty much unchanged from the T50 from what I can see.
Do you know that the one thing that I'm not super stoked about is we don't have that glove box at the front anymore. That was great for repair and maintenance.
For accessing cables and everything.
Just be able to get in there and look at things and even just like clean it out. But it is really well sealed, the front now, whereas the T50 and the T40s, and they would get, especially if you were spreading, you'd end up with dust and stuff in there on the modules, whereas this looks really well sealed and tight.
Kind of back to that issue you were saying before about there is going to be spray coming up, so it's best to sort of cover everything up as much as possible and seal everything up.
Well, the other thing I'm noticing is that your power distribution board is at the front now, which means we don't have all those modules like the spray module, the power distribution board at the back, which was in that danger zone, especially for spreading where the product's coming out, it's getting lifted up by the rotor wash and getting mixed up back in the components at the back. So everything is in the front now, the front housing.
And the extra nozzle kit all the nozzles are now on the back, whereas with the T50 you added the extra nozzle kit, it was adding it to the front. So I guess that's also going to keep all the chemical drift.
I agree. I think that's a great feature. Camera. So it's not a gimbal camera. So I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a 180 degree camera or something. So I think the gimbal within the software is going to be a digital gimbal.
I think it's called, was it virtual gimbal?
Virtual gimbal, yeah. That sounds right. So yeah, we're not physically gimbaling the camera up and down anymore. That'll be interesting. I don't think I could go back to a spray drone without a gimbal on it, because those days were pretty horrid. That gimbal's been a great feature.
Do you want to just put the battery in? Because something we noticed was...
Here we've got the clips on the sides rather than at the front, and the clip system is
in the handle,
joined to the handle. So when I release that handle, I can then click it in.
So
and now
the clip's just here.
Yeah, so now it's stuck in there, and to disconnect, I pull up the handle. and then it pops up.
That's why there's that flex we noticed in when you pick it up in the handle, because it's actually moving those clips. Yeah.
And I got to say, it feels great. I love this handle. It's nice and wide. I mean, it's 15 kilos. So yeah.
Sort of makes it feel not quite as heavy as what it might if it didn't have that sort of design of handle. Like, it doesn't feel that much heavier than the T50 batteries.
No, it doesn't.
It's about, I think it's 3 kilos heavier.
I really like the terminals. I mean, they look absolutely fantastic. Nice and solid. Do you want to have a look, Rach? Nice and solid, like easy to clean. It's going to guide our battery on really, really easily. No problems with bending and that sort of thing.
Yeah, with previous spray drones there was, not a lot, but there were some issues, support issues, where those contacts sort of did bend or get a bit of dust in them, or sort of get damaged, you know, from the process of going in and out so many times. They look really strong. So. And
operationally, we got around that just by making sure we always had a battery in when we filled or cleaned or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which we I think will carry through those operational procedures. But yeah, this looks like it's going to be less prone to that sort of damage. Well, I think that's a pretty good run around. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, just I guess more generally, it's compared to a T50, I suppose. You know, the basics, of course, are that it's got more capacity. It's faster and it's smarter, so a bigger tank, the spray tank and the spray tank and the spreader tank, and the LiDAR system and the other technology we talked about makes it smarter, so more confident in how it moves around compared to previous spray drones, and it's also faster, so it's going to be doing up to 72 k's an hour. Obviously, that's more for spreading than spraying, but overall, it's improved in pretty much all the key areas on a T50. So looking forward to having a fly.
Yeah, definitely. I think that seeing how it handles terrain is the most exciting thing. Seeing that LiDAR working.
Definitely.
Great. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.